To these ordinary heroes, to them I must tip me hat. Not those who suck in the country and living off the fat. From sun up till sundown, they keep working tirelessly, building this land from the bottom up for the great love of their country. They are not rich and famous or powerful politicians. They are the movers and shakers, yes, feeding our nation. The fishermen who brave dangerous waters, yes, to ensure the nation is fed. Swimming with sharks and barracudas, yes, to make an honest daily bread. The farmer whose back breaks.
Everything natural, everything agricultural. It's a beautiful show with DJ X-Ray and Yason. Banky in the building, 2020 Vision Radio, 102.1 FM, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. It's the girl, Kerry Lopez. Enjoy life from Maison Conditioner. Your love for Maison Conditioner. Don't forget, everything agricultural show. DJ X-Ray, Yason, Banky, 2020 Vision Radio, 102.1 FM, every Tuesday. Kerry Lopez representing. Don't miss it.
Hey, this is man Easy, inviting you to tune in to 2020 Vision Radio this Tuesday and every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show on 2020 Vision Radio. Tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. So 102.1 FM this Tuesday, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. It's everything agriculture.
Yes, good evening and welcome to the Everything Agriculture Show. I'm your host, Banky. I'm a co-host, Yason Tafari, all the way in California. It's another Tuesday evening, and if you're a first-time listener, you know Everything Agriculture Show is an educational show. We promote the agriculture industry and encourage everyone to take part and start planting some of the food that they eat and make sure at least they're getting some healthy food. So good evening to the folks in the Federation of Oli and Layamiga, which some might know it as Think It's a Nevis. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. You could be doing anything this Tuesday evening. A lot's been going on for the last month or two. So, yeah, son, I got to deal with something. So, in the meanwhile, take it over until I come back.
No problem.
Yes.
Yeah, global greetings, everybody. It's a pleasure to be in another edition of Everything Agriculture. Every Tuesday, this is our platform where we seek to address anything and everything on the topic of agriculture. And so it's a pleasure to be here with the listening public once more. A beautiful sunny day, you know, we're smiling in these parts as, you know, it's getting a bit warmer in these neck of the woods. And so it's really a pleasure, looking forward to putting out a lot this spring and this summer. So I spent a good bit of the morning this morning with my son, me and my son, discussing some of the plans that we want to put forward for the public, our supporters and customers. So we're really looking forward to an interesting spring and summer here in Cutler. It's really a pleasure to be and an honor to be discussing this topic at this time, as it is something that I am very passionate about and something that we deem is very vital. And so it is something that we are willing to commit ourselves to, and we demonstrate that by coming here every Tuesday and, you know, ensure that we have topics of interest and also affording you, the listeners, the opportunity to be a part, whether via our social media platforms, whether by telephone, you can call in and be a part of the show. And so we do welcome your views and opinions and any suggestions for us to take agriculture to the to another level here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We do look forward to those of you who would be journeying to Nevis to be a part of Agriculture Expo this year. We look forward to having lots, as usual, for you to sample and experience as you visit Nevis, and I hope you start preparing yourselves also to return even after the expo. The expo should be like a little sneak peek. You come and you visit and you fall in love and then you come back for Culturama. So we're gonna hope that we have that kind of effect and feeling this year, or maybe some even come and stay through until, if they could afford to. I know that some might not be because they might be working and they can't get vacation in time and that kind of length of time and all that. But those are things that we hope and we look forward to. So let's get into another edition of Everything Agriculture, and like I said, we look forward to your participation. The numbers, to call if you're interested: 469-7953 or 669-7312 and 1917-460-2187. Wow, by my eyes, I'm still working good by Banky. I reading on the screen in the back there. So yeah, give thanks, people. We do look forward to your participation and your interaction. I know some folks who I talk to, they do encourage us to share the number during our presentation.
Yes.
Because there's some who are not necessarily logged on via social media. They do listen via radio, and so we do have to be able to factor in all of our listening audience.
Good evening again. I just stepped out. Greatly appreciate the guys tuning in, and remember the Everything Agriculture Show is sponsored by Natural Boosters, all the way out of Cutler, California, and Shabazz Organics, your cannabis needs and your fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. So, your son is for the last month. We into the sports activities and stuff like that. So we've been going to a lot of sports with my daughter. She like the sports and stuff like that. So we've been going in, and at the same time, I want to get out the house and to spend time together and stuff like that. So what I realized, for instance, in our time going to school when it come to sport, then time I do my little thing, but wasn't one of those athletes when it come to people like Perry and Emmanuel and Fletcher and Ishan and Jawed. I'd come in maybe fifth, but not last. Somebody might come behind me, but at least I'm running for points, eh? But whatever
Right,
it is,
you give us a point.
in those times, we take part in everything: cricket, soccer, football, whatever it is. We don't. And then track sports time, you take part and stuff like that. So in those times, I don't think it's any different than now when it comes to the passion into it in the sports and so forth. Where those times in the park, you have to have the light car. Time of running pan you and everybody right there by the finish line. You go back, get out of the field. So that is why they end up have to fence the park. Remember, they have to fence the park of that fence because of the same attitude what used to have goes on back then, where the parents then go on the field and all these things. So I think the passion is always there, and sometimes it get out of hand. So ain't nothing new then that happened now. When we go, so it's the same thing. The passion, I'm not sure if it can get worse. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, sports have become a big business, big business when it comes to education and the government and stuff like that, and all those going on the sports event. Is just to park in the track is like $20 sometimes, $15. To park costs more than the event as much as I see. You see what I mean? So, and then the cars for the vendors and them can now. You see what I tend to observe a lot, because what I've realized, the vendors them have been getting a bash. Well, for me, I'm gonna speak on vendors because it's what grow me, selling tray and some youth nuts, and that's just how I know. My family, I was doing some kind of thing. So all of us growing up, and most like other children, they might home doing it, but then we will have our shows to do, go town to sell and when events and stuff like that. So over the years, I see those who get involved who wasn't selling, and more people added to it, and people selling at the schools, and then we realize now the schools them now get involved selling, competing to those who also don't even have a job, selling too. So you saw it come a way how the vendors making big money. So now to the school selling now, so I say what? Well, they're making the money that the vendors used to make by the outside now. So I see the community kind of like to observe these things, And most of the schools now, so even when health promotion might say, well, you sell healthy snacks, well, the school is who now selling most of the snacks than who the vendors used to sell when they would tell the vendors to sell more healthy snacks. So you see, so the irony in the society now is where the schools and education now is who pressuring with some high cost to enter an event. So the schools now selling, but if you go by some of these schools, Bridget, because the speaker school is a whole supermarket. You hear me, Bridget? It's tables and stuff in the Bridget. Things I wonder, wait, well, these vendors never stuff these schools they got. It become a big business now. So you cut out the small poor man outside selling, watching what he's making. So our community got to change their mind because remember the schools is a government entity.
Banky, you look at it from that point of view,
yes,
right? And it is a good point of view to look at it. But from the school's point of view now, you see, and these are some of the things too that I think when you really delve into some of these topics,
yes,
you'll find out some other things that are quite interesting. And
I would understand that the school
government, because the reality is the schools do this because these events are really fundraisers for the schools. And the situation that we have and St. Kitts and Nevis, well, let me speak to Nevis because I taught in Nevis. I guess I wouldn't be more accurate in speaking for the Nevis side.
Mm-hmm.
You find that a lot of the schools are not necessarily financed effectively enough for them to do what they need to do. So they are forced in a position to have to do a lot of these things in order to generate money to do some of the basic things that they need to do, whether to get printer, whether to get ink for the printers, whether to get papers, some of the basic things. And these are things that really should have been budgeted for. But, when you do get into the organization and the running of these institutions, you realize that they're left to fend for themselves a lot and find a lot in order to just keep afloat. Yep. So right. I do understand that pressure when it comes to being a competition to the vendors and so on and so. But I see from that other side where they themselves realize, okay, the vendors are coming, we keep this event, the vendors are coming. Yeah, they don't necessarily have a problem with them making the money and so on, but they also want to be able to raise some funds for themselves as well. So my thing though, from I guess from an agricultural, everything agriculture perspective, one of the things that I would have thought I would like to see at those events, as you pointed out, the fact that health promotion unit, and so we'll talk about healthier snacks and so on.
Of course.
Maybe it's time for whether maybe the Ministry of Agriculture do something to encourage a lot more people. Maybe they could have a stall there selling the fruit like ice lollies and the different healthy snacks that they offer as an alternative to encourage people to go that way. And then maybe show vendors and so on, we can have these alternative snacks. We're not just telling you to do it, but we are providing the opportunity also for you to do it.
You see, one of the things that I tend to look at, I mean, I know the schools and them they mean well, but they're forced to do things because I can remember specifically, I mean, there was I don't want to pick up, but I say most of the schools are doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then I would tend to look at so education budget have to really go back to the drawing board and make sure a proper budget is allocated for each school, which and also include a garden budget also. If you have a budget for each school for a garden, whether it's 5,000, 6,000, it goes a long way every year. You see what I mean? A lot could be done with 5,000, even 10,000. A lot could be done, but to have every year, you see, I mean, these schools, you're not given a proper budget. You're talking about a printer. Just basic stuff. You're telling me the schools can't have because education. So with all these, this is just like, I'm not talking about this sports day alone, So now so every day now the schools them are forced to sell stuff, snacks and different stuff to generate funds. This is really not good. But that's just some of the
you see, it's not good, Banky, but these are some of the realities that we are faced with. That sometimes the public don't necessarily delve into. No,
Yes.
remember, we have governments that sometimes find money to do all kind of things, but something so important as education, and you find that the funds that are necessary to keep education afloat and to I mean and when I look at the Navy's end, some of the things that for example the Sinkits government addresses or the federal government addresses on Sinkits, the parents are still not burdened with that on Sinkits, but you have the parents burdened with some of these things, along with also still having to sometimes find funds to raise funds for the school, whether it's by sponsor giving
Mm-hmm.
them certain things to, because on St. Kitts, I think the school children, their CXC subjects are paid for by
Really?
the federal government. They do get textbooks and so on. They got a self program that is still active where children don't have to buy certain textbook and so. So like there are a lot of things, and these things are things that are not necessarily discussed because these are not the what we call it a nigger business topic and forward on one another, because these are what the politicians do. They use the topics that are catchy and people would run with and so on, and the real issues sometimes are not necessarily addressed. And these are some of the critical issues that that we are dealing with. Then you have an issue where, look at it. I mean, the federal government said that okay, to go to CFBC, you don't have to pay and so. But then on the Nevis end, there is the boat fee, and I mean, is that the government consider saying okay, well, by since we really want to help education and so on, can we do something to pay for that, put that into our budget or whatever, So these are things. Sometimes you find these people talk, and that's why I find a lot of our politicians and so on, they're very good at talking when it's convenient and talking on the topics and so. But then coming down to the nitty gritty of things, when people have to find out what is really going on, is when you have these issues. So I do understand, but the reality is, Banky, that is what it is. The schools have to find ways and means of buying whatever they want. If you're supposed to go to make it your business and go to the schools and talk to the principals and so on and
Of
find
course,
out
I hear the
exactly
stories.
what the status is.
I hear the stories. But I mean, it's sad. It's not like I understand. I understand. It's not like I don't understand what's going on. But just by my observation, I realize more and more schools getting involved in the selling of snacks and then remember these schools used to have vendors they're selling for years. So now these vendors are being pushed away because then the students are told not to go outside the gate. Remember that. You have to stay inside now. So you're locking the students them now. You see, before they used to go out and so you literally shut out these vendors just to keep the money inside there. So in a small community, and these are things that affect a community, because then the person who know who shut out now start to watch the school and start to hold hatred or maliciousness against the whole school system and the teachers them. Because there's a domino effect. So when we look at one thing, we really think, well, the school making a lot of money, we can't know it cut out the person who was doing this, but no. I mean, it's so bad, you understand? But and if we were living in a democratic society and we're sitting and we can't talk about it because we're not to get in the feelings, no bother me, You know what I'm saying? Because these are the reality within our society. So the government is causing these things. You see? It's not the school the school are just forced to do these things. But
Exactly, they're more forced to.
of course, so I'm
Yeah.
just bringing up this thing because being to the sports and the more sports that are being to, I realize the observation, and when I look around, your son, is pure food they sell at these sports, So you show the importance of agriculture. And these are things I look at. You see all these tents and people selling drinks and chicken and all kind of different stuff, burgers, pizza, all you see, popcorn, even local products, people selling smoothies and tarts and puddings. It's just everything is at these sports. So it shows.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm suggesting that, this is why I'm thinking, those who are in agriculture, like they are missing the boat on some of these things, because these opportunities now to showcase and promote these things. No one just talk. You're talking about 25 by 25 agenda. Then you use those opportunities to push these products. And then when you push these products and people start to buy them more, then it means that they would need the ingredients to make more. So then you're going to be putting the farmers as well to grow more to meet the demand and so on. And so these are opportunities. And at the same time, you show the marriage between health and sports, right? Because, you're trying to promote sports, But if you're not eating healthy, then you're not gonna have productive sportsmen and women.
Yes. Well, one of
You know.
one thing I realized, I mean, you have a few young ladies through the different sports meet or the different schools, and then coming over from St. Kitts, you'll find some of them selling local popsicle ice lolly with guava, coconut flavors, and believe me, they sell like hot bread and butter as they come to the stand. So it's like people now being creative, walking through the stand and selling. Kind of some people ain't gonna get up. So I like to see those creativeness while bringing the product to the people who they're sitting or who don't want to move, and and then so I like to see stuff like that. So when I go out, these are things I look for, and to see what people purchase and the creativity and the different ideas and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
eh,
but make a conscious effort. A conscious
yes,
effort needs to be made in terms of marriage. If you're really talking about that food security component, marrying the sports with healthy eating habits. And
yes,
so if you have a lot more of, even by doing that as well, and when the vendors, even those who are vending, if they
yes,
start to realize that, well, the agriculture department came and they did this thing and a lot of people gravitated towards this. Well, then it's going to encourage them now to find a way to go to the agriculture and maybe get some kind of wholesale deal. And then these would be more permanent things that are a part of, what we are doing. Or maybe they themselves can get into making their own or whatever. It's not about, trying to make it seem as if I'm trying to give agriculture, give the government more money again either.
yes,
It's just trying to use it. Let them use it, be the front runner, since they're the Ministry of Agriculture and since they're the ones charged with pushing this 25 by 25 agenda. I'm just trying to suggest some other ways that they can market and use PR or little marketing strategies to encourage a lot more folks to get into um, these things, which would also stimulate our agri industry on the island and the federation as a whole.
yes. But overall, the sports activities, one thing I can say, we have a lot of talent within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. A lot of talent. And I would like to see, I mean, some of these children being sponsored by different corporations around here and stuff like that. I mean, because the talent, what I see around here, these youths, is the same talent I saw when I was going to school with Ishan and Fletcher and Timmy and a whole heap of these guys. You see what I mean? A few went
Well,
get
based on what I see,
scholarship.
some of them are breaking the records that were placed by some of these
Of
guys as well
course.
too. Maybe not
Yes.
all, but some of them.
Yes. So it shows that they have good trainers. Some school have good programs. Most of the, I mean, the trainers in some of the school are well qualified. You have people like Corvin Wallace and you have this gentleman, this young kid who was at Charleston Primary. I think he's a brown from over Newcastle, and those at Ivor Walters. But all the schools in general have they have very very, very good coaches and stuff like that. So if you have these students, those with the potential and those who you see at the high top level, these a special training camp should we put these children into, and special attention should we put program, I must say, put in place. I'm not sure if it is done, but I know when my niece play soccer in Virginia, and when she was playing soccer and end up on the Nike team and stuff like that, they get personal coach, and when you see a talent, you nurture that talent, because sometimes a coach might only pull you to this point, but they need another coach to carry you to this level. You see what I mean? Like people like Kim Collins and them, and Kirby and Wally. I mean, these guys, especially when they reach to Olympics and this, you know what it takes to reach the cars. Everything now is done to a science, You're watching everything scientifically. Your eating, your sleep pattern, your intake with water, your protein. This thing is a job now, So that's why I say some of these students would need, tutoring, and that's just the reality of how to when you're gonna plan to get to reach first class athlete. These are some of the programs you got to put in place, and that's just But I'm not sure. I'm not as part of this sporting. Area and stuff like that. But it's just suggestion. But
But is if the necessary interest is really there, and if it is not just, as you pointed out, seen as revenue generating opportunity for some of the organizers and so on, because when you look at sports overall, okay, we have garnered a lot of, at least for sure, regional attention with the primary school mini Olympics, which have
Yes.
garnered, regional sponsorship and so on. And that has really, created some significant interest where track and field is concerned. And then you would have some of these major events like the one that we just had there, the Inter High and things like that, that stimulates a bit of interest. But then after that, you don't necessarily see much of anything. And then in terms of the we have sports like cricket. Nevis, would have produced a number of test cricketers, and up to now we don't have a proper stadium to attract international, cricket. And then you look at the fact that these guys, whether it's in sports, whether it is in music, whether it's in the arts, or the form of the arts, some of these people are more of global ambassadors for our country than, in a lot of cases, a lot of the politicians and other people who we may seek to emulate in society. But for some reason, we don't get a lot of the recognition that they should get. Netball again is a big sport that took Nevis international. Nevis was one of the first places that had international matches, bringing in teams from England and different parts of the world and representing the region, John Grill Hall and a number of others. And so back then, would have taken netball to the point and then was able to get a proper netball facility set up in Nevis and so on. And then, so it really, make you wonder how serious, sometimes we are with some of these things in terms of really looking at not just the academics, but also seeking to encourage a lot more of our youths to get involved in these kind of sports and see that we truly care about getting them. I mean, look at the cricket again. In recent times, I'm seeing 4 of our females from Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis at least, and I think it's the Leeward Islands female cricket team.
Mm-hmm.
These things says a lot. And so if we don't really invest seriously in these things, and then we stop and say the youths and getting into crime and violence and all kind of things, then so just a meditation.
Well, I just want to commend the Sporting Authority who held over the weekend for the last 4 days, and the field event held was the Thursday and Friday, and the Saturday and Sunday was held in Nevis at the Mundo Track. And one of thanks, shout out for the St. Kitts supporters who came over and supported the event, and also just want to give my accolades to all the schools and all the students who took part. They all are winners. It was amazing. I seen so much talent there and stuff like that. It was amazing. I enjoyed the event, and when I go out, I pay attention, and then my youth say, well, Dad, in Charleston come first. I say, I understand, but it's all about competitiveness, and at the same time, you learn sportsmanship, and the athletes them supported each other. Some of the parents them taking things to personal, and some of the fans, but in that serious, let children them have fun, and that's what it is. Was a good event, so give the kudos to the Nevis sporting department, and also SK Sporting Department for collaborating, and all those who volunteer and made the event a success. It was really great. The boats them run, and people came over and support, and that's what I like to see. Looking forward for Inter-Primary this week. So we're going to take a break and bring in the folks from the CBN network, and we come back.
Aye.
This 2020 Vision Radio 102.1 FM program is being simulcast weekly on the Caribbean Broadcast Network, heard on CBN Superstation 90.9 FM, Go Loud Digicel app, covering the entire U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and CBN TV on Flow Channel 101 and on CCT TV Channel 291. We do appreciate our U.S. and British Virgin Island listeners and viewers joining us for these informative and entertaining programs on 2020 Vision Radio and 102.1 FM.
Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune into 2020 Vision Radio this Tuesday and every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show on 2020 Vision Radio. Tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. So 102.1 FM this Tuesday, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. It's everything agriculture.
Yes, and welcome back to the Everything Agriculture Show. I'm your host, Banky. I'm a co-host, Yason Tafari, all the way in California. I want to say good evening to the folks on 102.1 FM, those who are listening on the FM band, the folks on Facebook, Twitch TV, also the folks on YouTube. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, and the folks on www.2020visionradio.com. Remember to share the link and let everyone know Everything Agriculture is on 2020 Vision Radio. Also, if you want to be a part of the show, the phone line is 469-7953 or 669-7312, or overseas line is 1917-460-2187. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember, this week, Thursday coming up, is the Agriculture Expo. In the 20 plus years of promoting foods, the agricultural sector, what is done when it comes to food security and different techniques and stuff like that, show how advanced the farming security is, and different entities businesses that is involved in agriculture, even though they don't think they're involved in agriculture, but greatly, definitely looking forward. Well, this Thursday and this event, I'll be taking part, not as one working for the government, but as an individual, as a farmer, and at the same time, so Shaba's Organics will be taking part. I have a 20 by 20 booth, so at this event I want to do something different, so I want to having like a cannabis college, so where you come in and you have a timeline from the type of medium that is used to grow it, whether it's indoors, whether it's outdoors, different type of strains, different techniques when it comes to cloning, stressing the tree, tapping, budding, just different ways how the trees is grown, some of the diseases that affect the tree, up to birds, how birds would affect the tree when it come to like a woodpecker just eat up the bud in no time, the amount of damage. So this is what we'll be showing. You have all kind of different events. This evening also the Director of Agriculture is supposed to drop in for at least a half an hour throughout the show, and I guess to give some update. But definitely most of the tents are already up in the park already, and the stage is going up, and all the different cages for the veterinary section who have that zoo area is already in there. So some donkeys in the park last night already. So everything is going full speed. So I know right now the public at the park doing the touches and all kind of different stuff. Because from tomorrow is all heading in. From tomorrow evening, everybody will start to head in the stuff and packing in. So tomorrow evening I'll be start heading in and set up. So I'm basically ready. I'm always ready for event. It's just like a normal workshop that I'll be doing throughout the department, but being there having plenty work. So
it's very good. It's very good that you took on the initiative, because it is something that is very, very vital, and I like the approach that you're taking as well. That is more of a educational approach that you're taking.
Yes.
As the masses really would need to be re-educated.
Yes.
In terms of cannabis. Some it would be an education because some they really don't know at all anything about
Yes.
it. And then for some, it would be a re-education because they know about it, but they were taught of all of the possible negatives and also the propaganda and lies that
Of
was
course.
sold
Yes.
in order to keep it prohibited. And so it's a work, it's a challenge.
Of course.
And I really appreciate the fact that you would have taken up that such a humongous task.
Well, what I
to see
realized
to-
over the years
Massive.
in the department, every time we come to open, the people asking, where the cannabis section, the police them would ask, the inspector would ask, when the cannabis there. So I say, okay then, well, since everybody keep asking, and then now the government is moving towards medical cannabis, whatever terminology they want to use and stuff like that. Well, when is the time? So I contact the PS and the PS. Well, this is the situation and whatever, and say cabin pressuring both the PS and the director from since last year and stuff like that. What's the situation? So, well, everybody come down to the consensus. So definitely looking forward, Carvin setting up this stuff at least just to make sure by the time the event started, I have some trees at different stage coming in, some already close to mature, but different varieties strain that is local from St. Kitts and strains that is grown here and that is breed up. So at least to show, and there are a lot of different growers that is doing going good cannabis here within St. Kitts and Nevis, and this is just to facilitate, just to show those guys. You'll be amazed. Some people never see a cannabis tree. They don't have a clue. Show sativa. So I just want to have an ideal. So when you come in, say, I want to make sure I have it wrapped around with the mesh at the same time. So you have that, have plants with light underneath, starting from seedlings, different medium to grow. Just an educational way, different literature at the same time, value-added products. At the same, you see a male tree, a hermaphrodite tree. You see what I mean? So you have that ideal. So if you never see it, well, you see like you will see everything in a sense like that. So I just keep it as niche as possible and as natural as possible way, and you have the different mediums you can go in. Some of the different stuff you can use the plant for, and all that. So it's like you're walking through a time. So you also will. So hopefully the general public.
It's very timely. It's very
Yes.
timely
And
because
yes.
there is that need to dispel the stigma, and it's kind of startling for me when I think about it. Where we're supposed to be one federation, and you find we have a federal government which would have passed federal laws and rules and regulations, and then you would see one and one side of the federation, they're moving full speed ahead in regards to cannabis, and then on the other side you're not hearing anything at all. You're not hearing anything at all where cannabis is concerned. So Nivisions are still left curious and wondering, what is our present status and so on. And so it is vital when they see something like this at an event like that is recognized internationally, regionally, and recognized by the government. It will speak a lot of volumes. And I am just hoping that those who are charged with this responsibility, the true responsibility of educating the masses on this, would really seek to make such efforts to do so. It's now under the Ministry of Agriculture, and so we do expect to hear from the Minister of Agriculture and those who are in those positions to really make it clear and abundantly clear to the masses, so that there is no scare and no fear and so on where it is concerned, and to show that they are really ready to embrace and accept the possibility that this industry can also help to boost and bolster the agricultural sector and bring us to that point where we can match maybe the revenues that are brought in by tourism, and or maybe even surpass it. And these are some of the things that I think the government should be seeking to achieve where agriculture is concerned.
Well, I hope when everybody walking around and the camera can be behind the cabinet itself to get a good glance and get them some question and the minister within that environment, because that will be the ideal time for them to get their point of view and to realize, because what I'm doing is just basic. You understand? I mean, they need to have more stuff where you have give, because if you're moving towards an industry and you have people who want to get involved and they don't even have a clue how to set a seed, how to take care, how to identify a male or female or hermaphrodite, and instead of and not stressing the plant where you can shock and then start to initiate flow. And if you so and then if you have 5 tree, where you get a tree from? You can go and buy, you understand, a lime tree, a source of tree. If you want to have trees in the yard, 5, 6 tree, 10 tree, well, where you get it from if they not even know where to get a seed? This is just reality. So we are still
and
taboo.
the thing is, Banky,
This is just still taboo in the environment.
it's not just getting into an industry that they are not familiar with. It's
Yes.
getting into an industry that previously was tabooed,
Yes.
and folks are brainwashed to think that there's something so negative and so positive. And so negative and so outlawed and such a criminal offense, that a lot of that programming is still etched into the minds of many. So you still have that part to play, and that is why it is so critical to have those who are in those positions to come forward and help to ease the minds of many who still may have that kind of programming inside them, and get them to realize that no, this is something that we welcome now, and it is not in that light as it was before. So we are hoping that you all can come and embrace this thing and so on. So this is what we are looking for. And so yes, as you said, I hope that yeah, when the media do the interviews and so on, that they do seek to put those kind of questions, and let's see if we can get the necessary feedback that we desire.
Yes. Definitely.
Um,
Go ahead.
and I was just gonna comment on some of the comments in the on the Facebook chat so far,
Mm-hmm.
because we usually take care of our followers and listeners. So Evan Jeffers said good night, all. Elijah Williams, Shamika, I guess she was tagging some other people. Brenda Lee Williams said good evening to the host.
Good
Rhonda
evening.
Brown said good night. Woodlyn Hill said good night to all. Josh Williams, he says everything agriculture. We got Paulette Peets, a great farmer from over on St. Kitts End.
Good evening,
She
Miss
said good
Peets.
evening, everyone.
Yeah, man.
And she says good topic. And so it's always nice to have our farmers locked in. And Paulette, please feel free to share the link with the other farmers and St. Kitts. We do want them to be a part of this program. We make it our effort to be here every Tuesday. And we welcome you. I think I saw you last week as well. And so we do welcome you. I think I'm going to seek to organize to get an opportunity to have you on the program as well to Paulette. So keep your fingers crossed. I know if you're camera shy, we're gonna have to work on that, even if it's maybe by the phone, but we will work on that.
Yes.
Tillyman said, tell Nevis people they're going to heaven is the or if they smoke weed, see how quick they jump. Tillyman then he said good night guys, and then Paulette Pete says yes. So I guess which means she's open to being a part of the program at some point.
Definitely.
And yes, we are open here when it comes to everything agriculture. Yes, the program is hosted on Nevis and is based on a Nevis radio station. But I want my brothers and sisters and my farmer brothers and sisters and St. Kitts to know that we are very much open to you guys being a part of this. This is not no one-way street, and this is not no politically motivated program. This program is a program that is put on by two brethren who are very passionate about agriculture and the agricultural industry. And so here is we may discuss. You might find politics issue because politics is in everything.
Yes, sir.
But it's not no political. We don't have any political agenda.
Yes.
We are just the politicians, and we just the political issues if and when necessary, and we are just very open and frank in our positions. So it's not, you don't have to worry about that in terms of no cycle. We personally ain't on that agenda. That is not our agenda. Our agenda is everything agriculture, as the program implied.
Yes.
But agriculture involves all kind of other things, and so from time to time we will engage various other topics, and we will also show the masses that they need to change their concept of farmers, because we are not dummies. We do very intelligent people and can converse on various other topics as well, and so we demonstrate that on the program. So we give thanks to all those who make it a business to tune in, and you're free to call in, my folks, whether you're in St. Kitts, Nevis, internationally. The numbers again 469 1869. We put the 1869 if you're calling international. 1869 469 7953 669 7312, and overseas 1917-460-2187. And those are the numbers if you wish to be a part of the program. But yeah, Banky, I mean, it is really good that you're really doing something like that. It will be the first ever for the Agri Expo, and seeing that we're moving into Culturama 50, it should be a very good look as well, and we hope that also could be some encouragement for cannabis to be a part of the Culturama celebration as well.
Definitely.
And we can really move into really making sure that our people benefit. It's not all who might be interested, but you should not seek to deny those who may be, and allow them to have their part of the celebration.
You see,
that is that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, finish up your point.
No, I was going to get into something else outside of cannabis.
Right.
So if you wanted to make a point, go ahead.
Okay, so now I was saying, but when it comes to pain, as you age and you realize you want to take less pharmaceuticals, and if something going to ease your pain and release some of your stress, and then you have no side effects and all these things, everybody going to move into that. You see what I mean? One of the issue that we have throughout the world is that A lot of doctors, you understand, and pharmaceutical is the third largest when it comes to people dying, overdose and wrong medication, all this craziness. But you ain't hear much doctors. But this is just the reality. We need to use as much natural medicine as possible. You see what I mean? And it's all about keeping your immune system. And the cannabis is something. It's always been a medicinal plant, just like soursop, just like guinea, just like tamarind. So now our government now have put legislation where it's not poisonous. Well, it never been poisonous before, but now they say it's not poisonous. So that's fine. But I just want to encourage everyone to come out and support the agriculture expo this Thursday and Friday. We have contingent coming over from Stacia, over 150 plus, about 5 vessels coming over, and that also you have different vendors. And the last time we had Victoria and Solomon came over as part of the cooperative, so definitely they had a nice touch to it where they was doing boiled peanuts with seasoning. Boy, that was so flavorful. I never seen nothing like that, with cooking peanuts with seasoned pepper and seasoning. That was crazy to me. So that was a nice touch. Definitely the local vendors, Elmina, Sally, you have Emeraldine, you have Jonas, Passad, and all the rest. Then you have the agriculture, you have the boat there selling the vegetables at cheap prices. Also, you still have fisheries, marine department doing their thing along with water department, some of the banks and none of the NGOs. Also, you have local vendors who do soaps and different arts and stuff will also taking place, and different vendors coming over from St. Kitts and all of different type of food types that you're looking at, and other businesses like Bodies them would also be there, and you have ITAL people like IRI, and also trying to remember that's Marco's wife there. I mean, usually she'll also be there, and so you have different people. I'm not sure if Monto gonna be in anywhere inside there, but definitely have people. If you want to fish, whatever you want, the agriculture expo is some place to be. Okay, if you see Station, don't miss it. Definitely, don't miss it, and also make sure you look for Shabbos Organics, which we're doing getting free education at the Cannabis College. Cause we're gonna dub it Cannabis College at the Agri Expo. Make sure you're doing something real big. So when you come, you in an event in an environment where you see everything cannabis, different trees, different variation, different techniques, ways of cloning with using your aloe, or if you're using mutant hormones. Cause we have everything around here. If you want to use your own soil, or Promix, or peat moss, or perlite, they made is just whichever you want to use, and different type of manuals and all that. So everything will be labeled, and come and get educated. And I'm also open because I don't know everything, so I'm the kind of so each one teach one, and that is how I go about it. It's the same. Me and Yason here, we don't know everything, and everyone who tell you they know everything, something is wrong. Cause we really know at least from all the thing we know 10% of upon the land, and less than 10% that is in the ocean. So we really still in kindergarten and preschool, all of us as bright as this thing and scholars, that we still don't know nothing that is on the earth and in the ocean. So we all really are still in preschool. So we shouldn't be intimidated if one say they have a PhD or they have this. We are still in preschool. That's the reality. So we all need each other.
And that's one of the interesting things about the field of agriculture as well, because
Yes.
different farmers would have different techniques and
Of
different ways of
course.
doing things, and so you
Yes.
can always learn. It doesn't matter how good you may think you
That's the
are,
whole point.
you can learn a method that
Yes.
is, but even if you might not think it's better,
Yes.
you might find that it can work and maybe help to make things easier
And
for
you
you.
tweak it,
So
you
it
tweak
might not
it.
be better, but it
Yes.
might help to make what you're doing easier. So
Yes.
we are always open to learning and sharing. If it's one thing you would get from another farmer, is most farmers, they don't necessarily hold back anything. They will share whatever it is that they have with you. Um, Talking about sharing, I see Paulette is mentioning that they had a meeting this afternoon, and their topic was how to take care of the banana plant from tuber to fruit, and
Yes.
that's quite interesting.
Of course.
That they're doing these things because banana is another thing. Let me sidetrack a little bit into that, because I saw a post earlier on, I think is this week, that spoke to Restaurant Week, and they were putting out a question asking, trying to get, I guess, the feedback on which of the three crops, which one out of the three they should consider. And I think they had carrots, banana. No, is banana a planting? It's either carrot, and it's carrot,
Yes.
planting and papaya. Either planting a banana and papaya, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that came to my mind, and I think I commented on it, I reposted it in that regard. I am thinking that, especially seeing that we are moving towards this 25 by 25 agenda, and we are really pushing to improve our agricultural sector. We need to select a crop per se for the restaurant. I don't know who organize it and so on, but think of something that we are already going and we can sustain ourselves with, or if not, encourage the farmers to get to that point so that when we're doing this, we don't have to be using a crop that we still have to import to sustain the restaurants with. You understand what I'm saying? Because when I say import, even though one may want to look at it that Dominica and St. Vincent is in the Caribbean and they're our brothers and sisters, technically it's still import when
Of
you could
course.
really grow some of these things and really improve yourself to the point where you can sustain yourself with some of these things. And so, though I commend and encourage the restaurants to push that and encourage, sorry, the people to
Hmm.
go out and support Restaurant Week and so on. I'm just thinking along that line so that we can begin to really encourage our farmers to grow, to sustain the restaurants and sustain our supermarkets and so on. It's a sort of encouragement. And then you choose a crop that maybe that you know they're capable of, or since that week is coming up, you probably choose it early, choose the crop early, and so that you can get the farmers to push that crop so that you have an abundance of it during that week. Just my suggestion.
Beautiful, yes. And before we continue, I want to touch on open the also. Remember, the abattoir also will be there. Definitely, abattoir usually by 7 o'clock, Gary ready to sell. So definitely, if you know you want to get your different choice cuts and all this stuff, please come early. Cause once Gary reach, Gary now waste the time and Gary sell it. So I know there are vendor people coming out looking their seedlings and all that. You'll have tropical blossom along we have a boy Fark will be there selling his fish and different people selling fishes coming up from Sink It. It's really a big event and it shows that how everyone is really a part of the agricultural sector, but they don't think they're part of the sector unless they're involved in fruits and vegetables or animals. But really and truly, you're in different products, whether it's clothing, whether you're selling farming equipment, you're really a part. We all are really involved in agriculture, but we don't really look at it like that. Whatever you use in your home, within your office space, paper, pens, it's all come from the mind of the earth resources. So agriculture is really not just it's really mind of the earth resource. Whatever you have on your ring, your watch, whatever it is, your computer, cell phone, it's all the earth resources, and that is how it should really fall under. Not just going off guys medicines, housing. That's really it is, so, and it's just stacking the atoms different. But definitely, I'm looking for the agricultural expo this Friday and Saturday. And also, at the end of April, you'll have the agricultural fair also in St. Kitts. We usually be at the last Thursday and Friday in April, so that will be a next event. I mean, I know they already start making plans. Last time I've been there, so they have some watermelon in the field, so definitely they'll be coming for the agriculture fair, so they'll definitely have a lot of watermelon from what I've seen there. So definitely looking forward for Thursday and Friday and for the general public to come out and support all the local farmers and vendors and spend some money and have some fun. Look at the local acts, and we have masquerade, we'll have drums and different stuff. At the same time, it's a place to event to come to socialize. We'll have domino events and just walk around into and also it's a place for we have definitely have you have where you do with the children. You have the kiddies area. We have I know sometimes Mr. Gilbert would have it, and Eric would have their horse doing horse rides, and you have bouncing castles, and all kind of different stuff will be going on. So it's a fun day and an educational day at the same time, where you have stuff for the children to do and stuff for the adults to do. Even if you just want to come get something to eat, find a little cool place and chill and relax and listen to music, there's something always there to do. So definitely looking forward for that, Yason. But Yason also, I just want to jump a little bit on backyard gardening, cause backyard gardening and school. I'm very always those two things I'm very passionate about when it comes to people starting their own little garden. And even if you don't have much space, it could be a 5 by 5. A lot could be done in a 5 by 5 space. You can have some pots and have 20 pots and put them there, and you can at least grow some of what you eat. Whether it's herbs, some tomatoes, bell peppers, and I always encourage people to grow what they like and what they use most of the time. So at least you wouldn't have to. At least there's sometimes you don't have to purchase certain things, and you'd realize how better the food tastes when you grow it yourself. But so sometimes we tend to say, well, you don't have the time, but the time is always there. The time is always there. It's just to
You, you
start.
know, you know, one of the things that I am here thinking, I
Yes.
think maybe we should make an effort to seek to get one of the members from the processing unit
Uh-huh.
to come on the program, because I think as you talk about the backyard gardening, maybe there need to be somebody that step forward and seek to highlight the benefits um, of backyard gardening and
Okay.
how those backyard gardeners, sorry, can benefit from
If I have up a picture there,
accessing and using the processing unit.
I have up a picture there with a backyard garden, and this is in Shadwell. I set up this sometime last year for a young lady and the Carissa in Shadwell Pine Garden, where she grow
Mm,
lettuce. This is the old picture. I have a new picture, but this is just one where she had to plant our lettuce. You see what I mean?
right.
And she can have enough stuff to sell. And this area, she can have whole nearly at least 800 plants. So I just set it up for her, and her neighbors like it. Now the neighbors want it, and it just keep her busy, and this can sustain her. I
Right.
single, a single, a young, a single female with her youth and doing this, and you can't tell if it was a female or a male doing the farming. That's why it's saying agriculture is not gender biased. You see what I mean? So these are the things that we are talking about. So I just want to big up Carissa, and if you're looking for stuff from Carissa, I have a next picture here. This one here, this is one she took this morning. You have lettuce, different colors, and the friends. You have some vines. You have melons and different stuff, and a lot of herbs and thymes. Beautiful, right there in Pine Garden. So, if you're looking stuff from Carissa in the Shadwell, I mean, Pine Garden is 668 8882. Can't go wrong. Fresh lettuce, herbs, thymes, and different stuff that you go there. And beautiful garden, your son, as you can see. So it shows
Yeah, man.
the amount of food, and all this can also affect the food import bill. So when you have people like Carissa, a young lady, I mean, you see how clean the garden is. You can you see how clean this garden is, your son.
Mm, mm.
Yeah? It shows that you take a lot
Yeah,
of
man.
pride, and she should be encouraged. You should have been through the Department of Agriculture, and should be a model within her community, and get other young people involved and stuff like that. When you see something like this going on, you really got to encourage Carissa and other young people, especially female, because you don't find much females getting involved in when it comes to farming. You have they getting involved, yes, well, more now getting involved in studying the science part, but out in the field itself you don't really see that. So this is very encouraging. Like today there was must big up Usaina Jeffers and Katie and Banton at the agriculture department. Last week Friday there was a lab opening over there close to is Wellington Road over there, is close to the power plant, the power plant in St. Kitts, where they have the agro
Mm-hmm.
processing unit, where they open up
Mm-hmm.
a new lab for testing for plants for pathogens and pesticide residue and all that stuff, which is really a good touch when it comes to for food security and stuff like that. So, and also when it
Nice,
comes to
nice.
importation of food, you can make sure test the food before you go out or come in, just in case you have, find different diseases and stuff like that. So can do rapid testing. So big up Usaina Jeffers, big up Katie, and then all these are students who also attended the CFBC agricultural program at the same time when I went there, and to show all of them excelling and leading and taking the charge. It's a beautiful thing. And the same class that when I went there, all of them is at the top of the game, taking agriculture, very, very passionate about it, and no issues, just taking the charge. So just want to big up Katie and Usaina. And right now Teresa Diaz is over in Taiwan studying, furthering her studies. So it shows the science part when it comes to agriculture, which always look at it as a science and not just mediocre, because this is what's going to sustain us. And this is the reason why we're still here for billions of years ago, the food that we eat. So it shows without food, we won't exist. So it's important. I mean, I know we didn't have much time in February to get involved in a lot of stuff going on, but a lot is going on close by in Haiti. Food is still going to be needed. And then you have CARICOM seem to have a 7-year plan. I'm trying to understand when it seems that they have 3 years. Well, at the end of this month, it should be in effect, but then you have 3 years to see what you're going to do. Then you have 70 years where you got to comply. That's what I'm trying to figure out because you still have 70 years. It's up to 70 years. That's the part it seems kind of tricky, but from how I hear it and how I decipher it, it seems like it's a mandatory thing. I stand to be corrected, but it seems they have up to 70 years from when I listen in my own terminology, how I hear it. It seems almost like you ain't got a choice, but let's see how it goes. But still, you need more food too, so that is the key, resources. So we're going to import more food. Whether you're going to bring in people who are skilled, it doesn't matter whether you're skilled or not. You're bringing in humans who want to need resources. That is how I see things. You see, so how we're going to bring in more food, are you going to have a better plan? Whether it's in the school system or wherever you're at, resources going to be needed. Whether it's houses, housing, you're still going to need food. Medicine is the same thing going to go so once you bring in additional people. And that's just the reality about it. So these things got to be planned in advance, way in advance. So I don't know how, when I look at these things, in just a short time, 7 years is just around the corner. How can you plan for 70 years if you get an influx? I said 4,000 people. 4,000 people, a lot of people coming to Nevis because we population don't really change much between 10 to 13,000 people if you realize. Some come in, some go out, some. Because we're always moving around. So no matter where we twist it or whatever the event is, you have war going on, still going on over there in the Gaza Strip and in other parts of the world. So these are just the reality, and then you have election coming up for the US. So there's a lot going on, and all these still in one way or the other are going to affect importation of food in one way or the other.
Well, yeah, definitely in terms of the food importation and the food sustainability component of it. But in regards to the influx of people moving, I right now see it as the story that we had in primary school, but Henny Penny, Goosey Lucy, Ducky Lucky, the sky is falling kind of, story. I don't think that is going to be the reality. I think, as you mentioned, that it is something that inevitably we would have to deal with.
Yes.
I think that it is something that would have been on the agenda for a very long time. I don't think this is an issue that CARICOM is just beginning to discuss in terms of regional integration and being able to have that single market and economy and all that. What I think is and was lacking was the leadership of the various countries taking the initiative to bring the discussions and the debates to the population so that these issues could be trashed out versus now seemingly it is something that, like some people feel that it's just going to be forced down their throat or it's just being pushed down their throat, and now they have to be doing a bit of damage control and now seeking to discuss the issue. Now it is brought to the table again in a sort of fresh light. But it is nothing new. It is something that is we are working on. And then when you look at the global trend as well, there is that move for this one world government, this one order, this one passport, this global thing that is happening on a whole. So also, they're seeking to be movement where Africa is concerned in creating that United States of Africa, that one Africa movement. And in all reality as well, as a people within the region, even though we are divided by waters, our states and countries are divided by waters. And in Africa, in the case of Africa and America, it's one continent or one landmass with various different states on the landmass.
Hold a break. Yeah. Let me bring in take a break and bring in natural boosters and we continue.
Okay, no problem.
allnaturalboostersusa.com is offering everything natural on everything agriculture. Check us out for our all natural boosters and supplements. We are 100% natural. If you're looking for pain relief, then grab a bottle of our all natural miracle oil pain relieving spray and let us get you pain free naturally. What about our lemon zest sauce? Try it today. Made from the all natural blend of lemon, garlic, ginger, and apple cider vinegar, helping to relieve all kinds of body ailments. We also package all natural spinach, okras, organic pineapple, just to name a few. Check out our Super Roots Immune Boosters dietary supplements and energy teas. The All Natural Boosters USA.com for all your natural teas, supplements, and pain relief. Check out our website allnaturalboostersusa.com or call 1-559-541-2758. Shop now. We are 100% natural, striving for the best, not settling for less.
Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in to 2020 Vision Radio this Tuesday and every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show on 2020 Vision Radio. Tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. So 102.1 FM this Tuesday, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. It's everything agriculture.
Yes, good evening and welcome back to the Everything Agriculture Show. I'm your host Banky and your co-host Yason Tafari all the way in California. This evening we're just talking general agriculture. We're talking about the Agriculture Expo coming up this Thursday and Friday. It's in its over 25 plus years. I don't remember, keep up the exactly, it's over 27 or 28 now by now. I know it skipped one in when they had the COVID time going on, but we expect our guest this evening will just drop in for half an hour, but I know he's at the park still, the ETW park, getting the tents and everything ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, everybody will start packing in their stuff. So Thursday morning, first thing at 9:30, everything starts. But before 9:30, the event will start. People will be there buying and selling already. They'll have the opening ceremony around 9:30. But before that, you can come early. After 6, whoever is open will be selling. Definitely, I was told always selling early. Definitely, I mean, I'll be already set up in the evening. Tomorrow evening, I'll go down and set up the Cannabis College. You look for the sign. Shabazz Organics will be in the first long row right down to the end, going towards where they have the farmers area, so we'll be at that end, a 20 by 20 tent. Look for the tent that have on a black mesh. It should be the only tent have on a black mesh, a shade cloth, so you have that privacy settings and stuff like that. So definitely also want to big up Reliable Motors, my boy Carl Claxton, who always ready to go anything for your printing service, your signs made or anything like that. Check Reliable Motors. Carl is a very creative guy, business guy when it comes to creativity, when it comes to making signs or anything you need, number plates. Definitely check out Reliable Motors and tell Carl Banky saying, once you tell him you use my name, you know you'll get a special price. That's one thing with him. He always work with Carl always have a price for everyone in the community. That's one thing. That's the kind of person he is. He's the ideal politician, but he don't want to put him on the ballot. I always bash him up with that. I'm telling you, he's the kind of person who will give the whole treasury.
That's a real good brother. And
Yes,
as you talk about politics, you know, he loved that discussion as well. So he's one who is always.
He's never a dull moment around Carl Bridget.
Yeah, man.
He's never a dull moment.
Sometimes we call days, you know, like heading over to the radio station, and you know what I mean. Yes. With conversation, I just got to end up going away, you know, I got to go now, you know.
Of course,
like,
it never end. It never end. That's one thing.
We always have something interesting, always, and very good topics, you know, very, very diverse topics as well, and always engaging, and always have something interesting and something positive. He's one of
those persons who could be easily elected as a national hero for community. you see what I mean? Activists and stuff like that, because he just have that genuine personality, and Carl just always laughing. Carl just talk
Yeah,
from one thing to the
Carl,
next. It's never a dull
good
moment.
youth,
Trust me, the
good
beautiful.
youth, good youth,
Yeah, so
good
definitely
youth.
check out Reliable Motors and tell Carl Banky send for all the printing needs or whatever you need. If you insist, ask for it, he'll get it done. That's the kind of person he is. Whatever you think it up, he'll get it figured. Tell him what you want and he'll do the rest. But definitely, for the folks coming out from Sinking for the agriculture, definitely looking to see the agriculture department and them coming over the workers and the ministers and the PS and the delegation coming over also to support. Because definitely Navy is doing something niche with the cannabis section. This never happened really. Sinking never had a section set up like what we are doing here. So definitely I know they'll probably get some ideas to go along with days when they come over and see what's going on at the expo. Because when you start through our event hours first, then you'll get different ideas and stuff like that to add,
Right,
which is
right.
good because you cannot educate enough. And one thing you also have to do, you keep replicating what you're doing over and over to remind people. You can use this stuff for recycling, whether you're using the pallets or using your utensils, the plastic bottles. And this is what I'm looking forward to see extension displays. Because extension is one of the area I used to be in, where you find different areas to encourage people to do backyard gardening. Just how you see also, Cariso's planting in pots in just her space in the back of her yard, and she still have more space to expand. So it's just a show. No space is really too small. Even this room that I sit in here, this room is almost like 10 feet by 12 feet. Could do a lot with this room here. You see what I mean? But it's all about high density planting and utilizing your space.
And especially with techniques such as vertical growth and so on, where you could have
Everything.
different layers. There are lots that
Yes.
you can do.
Yes, definitely. But looking forward for the event, and also yesterday we were talking about the schools and the backyard garden, and also the 2025 agenda. We really got to encourage our people to get on board and start planting some of the food themselves, and also at the same time capture some of the water. 'Cause right now we have some rain been falling. As I look before coming here, we'll get some more rain. Hopefully before Thursday, if you come in a bit later down in the evening or tomorrow. But definitely it should be a good weekend. And then next week moving into what, Good Friday again, and then after that is more sports day coming up, and then it's just so fast. It's like from now, it's like through the whole rest of the year. It's just action, action, action. Some kind of activities coming up every month, and then in May you still have the whole agriculture month of agriculture where you tend to have different activities throughout May. And
That's when you have the Mango Fest as well too.
well, the Mango Fest is more in July. I guess that usually
Oh,
happens in
okay,
June.
to accommodate cultural.
Yes, so it move in July and stuff like that. So definitely, I might have some event. I will have some reach out to do some mango um, stuff for people and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. I mean, the trees they're blossoming already. Or they have some blossoming in the garden, and also this is a time we have a lot of blossom for avocados also. So definitely we might have avocados coming down in. Definitely I know we'll have avocados between October, November going down there, because the trees already have blossom and some small fruit and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. Anything you want to pick up half of?
Well, I guess I would just wrap up where I was
Yes.
on the regional integration issue. I think that's where we cut off before the commercial break.
Yes.
I guess in wrapping up on that, I just think that our people need to begin to recognize and take on that responsibility of demanding that those employees we elect to represent us consult with us before they go and make certain decisions, and also demand that they report to us after going to various meetings and international representation, so that the decisions that they take, that especially when they have serious implications on the entire nation, that instead of they just go based on their personal political agenda, that they really consult with the people to see what is best for the people or what the people really want. And this is where we have some of these issues, why some of these topics, and I guess that's what I was alluding to when I pointed out that this regional integration issue is not a new issue. It is very similar to what has happened with the 25 by 25 agenda, where a lot of people in the last year or two is when they started to get serious with the 25 by 25 agenda. But this was something that was pushed out by CARICOM since 2020. And so we had a number of years to really engage ourselves and get ourselves ready for 20. We had 5 years to get ready. And then we wait until the last 2 years, so to speak, to start to really talk about it and push the agenda and so on. And so this is what happens sometimes when these consultations should be a part of, with the debates and town hall meetings and organizing with the farmers and organizing with all these other stakeholders and so on to make these things happen, than to get it to that point where you're almost forced to do this now. And so, being reactive versus being proactive.
True.
So that's where, I sit with that issue. So for me, this just like the 25 by 25 has to happen, and it's something that we need to focus on, not just for 25 by 25. Likewise, the regional integration is something that will happen, and it's something that we have to address and deal with, regardless of the 7 years or the 3 years or the 10 years that you're talking about.
Yes.
People need to recognize, like America is how many states? 50 states? Mm-hmm. But each state is like an island. Each state have their rules and regulations.
Of course.
The cost of living in each state is different. There's some states where the minimum wage is a lot higher than others, right? But you don't have the issue where everybody is flocking from one state to the other just because, well, they hear, okay, gas cheaper over here, housing cheaper over here. People move as a result of that. I'm not saying that people don't move. Those are not factors that cause people to move. But in terms of the influx,
yes,
the huge, migration of people, it's so the evidence is not there to sustain or substantiate that if we move along that path, that all these people are just going to come and flock to St. Kitts and Nevis. 10,000 people just going to come in a year and flock to Nevis. It is not going to happen, and the evidence is not there. People will move, yes. I'm not going to say that people would not move, yes, because there are a lot of different conditions and factors that cause people to move. But then, when you look at that argument, right? Again, this thought just came into mind. When you look at that argument, based on the fact that, on the flip side of that, we are claiming that our greatest revenue generator is selling our passports, which is making other people becoming citizens of the country and can come in and do whatever. So that means we got a problem with our people coming into the territory. We prefer to have Europeans and Asians and other people come in other than our people. That's what you're saying? Because when you sell out the passport and you sell 10,000 passports, that means that's 10,000 people who can potentially come to Nevis to live. So that's just another twist to the argument for those who may be putting it out there like that.
You see, how most people looking at it from just listening to different radio shows is that should they move into it where you don't have to have no skill set, nothing, it's just anyone can just move. The world just figure, well, those who are going to move is those who don't have no skills now, and then when they come now, they're going to work for them to do. And that is how I think people are going into a panicky.
But Banky, if you ain't got no skills, right?
Yes.
More than likely mean that maybe you ain't working and you're going to need money to buy a ticket.
Well, of course.
When you get to the next destination, you're going to need to have money to get a place to stay and all of these kind of things. So unless you're just saying that you're going to come on a banana boat and come in the back way and just try to, thief in the country, and then, those would be some issues. And then this is where now the territories, instead of creating those kind of arguments, one of the things we need to zoom in on is our border control. Because with that, we already have a situation right now where our borders are very porous, our borders are technically open. Some things I see happening. For this to happen, we definitely need to control our immigration, customs and border team need to be trained, need to be upgraded so that we can control those loose areas, and also the airport and all these other areas. So a lot will have to be done in those regards. But to try to stop people from coming and No, man, we could do it another 10 or 20,000 people, unless, like I said, they're saying that they prefer to get those from maybe, who are CBI citizens versus having
let's
the
say
regular citizens.
hypothetically, you have a next 10,000 people. Because when you say this, I know usually you don't hear the premier used to say news in the next 20,000 people. Over the years, 20,000 people. So no, it's surprising me. I hear it now. Well, suppose 10,000 people come and leave. So what will happen? How are we gonna affect this? You see what I mean? So when I listen to this thing, one time you want this, then the next time you come, now next time less half come, now you're not a panic. So I understand why you say things. These are
Well, you
things
see, because
so I don't understand
because
it.
Banky, like I'm trying to point out, seemingly,
Yes.
there's that bias, because you ain't mind if 10,000 people come from a certain status of people.
Oh, that's what it is.
For those, they don't have a problem if 20,000 people buy
Okay, I got
20,000
you.
passport and come in, because in their mind, well, these people are of a higher class. The same way they're thinking with the tourism,
So you're
That's what they're
saying,
they don't want to cruise passengers. They're
so
looking
yeah,
for
son,
a high end.
So yeah, son, I'm trying
terms
to
of
verify.
clientele.
I'm trying to verify what you're saying. So you're saying when the female will be saying Nevis could do the next 20,000 people, he don't mean those within the CARICOM. He mean other people. That's what you're saying.
Oh wait, you get what I'm saying? They ain't got a problem.
That's
do they have a problem with?
That's
Do
what it
they
is.
have a problem with anybody buying the passport and coming in? How much the question we've been asking recently, is how many of those passports have been sold? We can't get an answer for that up to now, How much done sell so far? I mean, no. Based on the numbers, me know for sure maybe more than 30,000 people passport done sell.
So you're saying you rather have
not me, them. Me just tell you what the status is, because this is what it is.
Let me rephrase, because I just say I don't listen. I like to listen to things. I like to think. I like and process things, because I find it strange now when CARICOM have this stuff. I'm trying to understand, but in the premier and his deputy of them is a part in the same cabinet of the federal, so they know the discussion going on, because these seem like strange stuff to me. Like this is taboo that they can't talk about it until only Dr. Joe can talk about it. I'm trying to understand this.
Okay, I'll show you something.
So I don't understand.
This is relevant.
Yes.
This is relevant, right? And I'm gonna show you a slight example of what I'm talking about here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Haiti and Dominican Republic occupy
same landmass.
One landmass, right?
Of course.
Okay. When we're here in the region, do we have a problem with accepting the people from the Dominican Republic coming into St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, I could tell you.
And even sometimes when they are here illegally,
yes,
we do find ways and means of trying to accommodate them,
yes,
and get them sorted out. But when Haitians do, and do we welcome the Haitians? Do we have the same welcomeness and appreciation?
No,
I know they use the argument that we used to go, our foreparents used to go Dominican Republic to cut cane and they get children down there and all that. But we know a lot of them who come in here and as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just shows you what I'm pointing out is the kind of biasness in regards to that argument.
But let me speak on the biasness of Haiti. Why it is bias? Because first thing you're going to hear, boy, people watch Obey down there, so, and the people really watch this. You know this, the negative stereotype stuff, you see what I mean? That's just sort of putting it over, along with the other history behind it. Because, you see, I don't watch nothing named news, because everything is just propagated. One way going to the banks, then we won't hear the business places, is CNN and Fox. So our people and those who are in charge of this institution following the same, they have the same, the thing in the same, because they've been controlled in saying one views and one views only. That's it. So we really hate ourselves, because even when you speak of the Christian disaster, so when I listen to these things, well, who believe in more Obey than St. Kitts and Nevis people? Because if we're talking about Obey and voodoo and all this different stuff, I'm trying to understand. Okay, if you walk down the road and a breadfruit drop, they say, boy, that's the reality. Nobody, but we act like it's taboo.
So Banky,
yes.
Banky.
So let me finish up the point, and then you come in, and I'll just finish the point. Can't just finish up now. So when we speak of Haitians, all they believe so much Obey. So why we here? Well, whom I believe in Obey? That's what I'm saying. Than our in St. Kitts Nevis. When it was a couple of years ago. Thing was in the square, what you call it there, customs, Virgin, are the most books of ark and different stuff you find inside it.
Thousands of books customs hold from people. Me know they hold the people book them for. Give the people the book. If they want the book with the voodoo and the this and the that and the witchcraft, we hold up on the book for give the people them the book. So these things are bound to come in the country. So these are the questions I don't understand. So we love to act like something is just like different issues. It's like we're playing with homophobic the same way, but yet we have a society that have a large gay community. So we need to done with these things and stop put pressure upon certain people at the same time, like something is wrong with Haiti. We need to done with it because we are the same people. We have the same cultural practices the same way. You see what I mean? The situation in Haiti is just because if you show next to Haiti, you're not even believing the same Haiti. The homes and the beaches, just around the area, they have it's a tourist destination, but they're not sure that cruise boat, everything. You see what I mean? Then, but in affecting that area, is a central area. That is how the media cruise boat going in, so they come here import Zante, lavishing hotels and beach and this and that. But you're hearing that part. It's just like Jamaica. They're talking about the Trinidad, but they're going to tell you how the news is just controlled, and we need to see things for what it is. And that's the sad thing about it. But go ahead, your son.
Yeah, well, all of what you're saying ties into what I'm pointing out in terms of the biasness. Because here is it. If, for example, we don't know, as we say, we don't know how much passports are sold, right? But let's say 30,000 passports are sold, and 10,000 of those people, 30,000 passports are sold. But we don't run the risk of these 30,000 people coming to Nevis too, or think it's a Nevis too and putting a strain on the economy too.
No.
Are that in a problem?
No, that ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen?
No.
So what you want to think now that because now the Caribbean people are free now to travel to St. Kitts and Nevis and to any other Caribbean country, why you think that all of them gonna just get up and come here, sir?
Because Nevis people
and vice versa. Why can't they think that we don't run to some other country too? Some other Barbados or Trinidad or Guyana, because Guyana getting a lot of oil now and all of the, why they didn't think that we're gonna run to some one of them places too and we're gonna just leave Nevis or leave St. Kitts too. So that's what I'm saying. These kind of debates and discussion, we need to have them on some different levels. Because you can't tell me you have a problem with our brothers and sisters where we're trying to create a one Caribbean and we're seeking to open up the market and develop trade and all of these things which they go and sit down in meetings every year. They go to these annual CARICOM meetings, heads of government meeting and discuss these things. So this is why I'm saying, Banky, these things are not no new discussions, these are not no new topics. They go and they discuss these things and then they come back, and I guess because we don't hold them accountable, we find ourselves into these positions. So they talk these nice lofty things, regional integration, one movement, we get the one passport. We set up in the OECS where we had you don't need to travel with a passport. You could use your social security card or your driver's license or your a voter's ID and so on to travel. So these are things that were spoken about. But no, you're selling citizenship passport and you have sold so many, but you don't have that fear that you sold 30,000 passports, which means that 30,000 people can come to Nevis at any time. So with all these wars all over the world and so to where you sell passport to some of these people in these territories and so, where you're afraid some of these people come to these borders too and some have no?
That never happen.
Okay.
What happening is that, remember, they're going back to the federation. Because you see, is one thing with the smaller island. The smaller island, they ain't forgiving, eh? They're not forgiving the whole apartheid. Because this is what they keep talking about with one from 10. You see where that leave? They keep holding on things. It's just like I remember in high school, and I trying to remember which one of the teacher, if you have to reflect, put me to play bracha and got me talking or put boiling news and pepper in your soup when they could never find that statement. So this is the kind of things that they do. Have me saying things. Let me take this call, your son. Carlo, good evening.
Greetings.
Greetings, Aya. How are you?
Bless the Lord.
Yes, I.
That's right.
Loud and clear.
I give thanks. Thankful for the program. Vision Radio and everything talk agriculture. I just like to pick off blessed love to all the family within the voice of Banky and Yasan and ever they are hearing the melody of the good discussion.
Yes, I.
So I like to follow up on what Yasan was saying, Banky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as he just emphasized that the CBI program being a basic concept towards, as I said, economical empowerment. Well, the same people that move in that framework, if they do think of it to come here with the numbers that the capacity phrase has, just to say out offhand, not saying that is the right number, right? As he stated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming out to that number, a percentage come from that number come here. Mm-hmm. How come we people ain't got no problem with them? But our own people in our region, who we supposed to be able to shoulder arm in arm, we are making a difficulty with it. You see? And this is the situation I said the other day on our program, Sundagan. What kind of measures are we really looking to formulate for the next generation? Because we continue ticking about in the early 1970s, in the early 60s, when the Federation was initiated, and because of certain aspect what was outlined within, and countries who were bigger than us outlined that they want to be within because we might be a burden. But we don't want to watch that there no more because we don't see the format now. So we got to really know how to pursue ourselves more in a dignified way, in pursuing greatness for one-on-one, not for just a few. Because Haiti got a lot of value that we ourselves need to cover within economical stability. But because, as you just outlined, they don't give that fragment and the theme. They give you a fragment that they want us to continue, make it feel like Haiti is a war zone.
Yes, I.
You see? Mm-hmm. So we are saying now, let us stop bombard Haiti and the other aspects of what we're aligned within the Federation, and let us look at how we could bring betterment for this future generation. Now, what was one really intake, what this Federation was supposed to outline. So we must learn from the mistake that was made. Give thanks.
Yes, I.
Yes, I am.
Yes, that was I.
You know, and Banky,
yes,
as the Virgin, you know, is pointing out, right? You know, a lot of this stems from the fact that we have that Eurocentric mindset. We have been brainwashed into taking the Western narrative of whatever our stories are supposed to be.
Yes, son.
Because, yes.
Remember, you know, in again 150 years, 102 years since the other day, you know, it's just the other day, you know, it's just in the 60s. They're fighting for, you understand, for civil rights, you know, you understand, we make the civil rights movement, you know, just the other day, you know, we forget very quick, you know, just the other day, just in the 60s, the killing of Martin Luther King, you know, just the other day, the 60s, just the other day,
Right.
just the other day, just remember that, you know, you see, we going here in the Caribbean and navies, and feel well, the others in North America and other places, England, go through because we were only here amongst ourselves. You see what I mean? When I see the influx of different races and stuff like that, those who over there end up in the places in the 60s and 40s and 50s, they got to see these things. You see what I mean?
But at the same time, Banky, even though a lot of us didn't see a lot of that, it still turned out to be worse for us in some cases, because look at what happened in our cases. I mean, even though in like places like America and so on, where you're still seeing remnants of the oppressor in terms of their faces and you know, skin texture or whatever you want to look at it as, right? So you in our territories now, their systems are maintained, the systems of oppressions are maintained, but they're maintained by people who look like me and you. And so that's what makes it even worse, because it is all our own people who came from amongst us, who supposed to know better, but they are still using the weapons of the oppressor to keep us oppressing that mentality and still continue to perpetuate that narrative. And it's playing out like this, Banky. You see, as we're talking about Haiti, and how we regard Haiti. It's similarly what is happening right now. There's supposed to be some big meeting right now with the AU, the African Union. And those countries, Burkina Faso and Mali and them other countries that fought off the French in more recent times, are not invited to the meeting because they are being labeled as
Of
a
course.
coup
Yeah.
and rebel leadership and so on. When all the people are doing is fighting for their freedom and saying, we no want no remnants of these colonial rulers a part of our system. We can rule ourselves, we can effectively govern ourselves and rule ourselves. And that is what the brethren is doing in Burkina Faso and these other countries who are breaking away. And I was listening to an interview with a brother who was talking about the fact that these 5 countries from Africa are not there because as a result of that. But in the meeting, you have all of these people from Spain and France and Britain, these Caucasians who are part of the meeting, who are going to be determining, helping to make shape policies and you know what I mean for and guiding the way of the AU when people who are part of the AU are not allowed. And so it's the same similar situation that we're seeing here with Haiti, where the brothers and sisters in Haiti are being called revolutionary and gang and all these kind of things when all these brothers are doing is saying, hey, we don't want no outside interference. We want to be able to set up ourselves and govern ourselves. And that is why I'm saying right now, CARICOM don't have any moral grounds to stand on in terms of trying to talk about trying to fix anything in Haiti. Because when France was doing whatever it was doing to Haiti, CARICOM sat by. Look at Santo Domingo there. Santo Domingo right there. America chose to help Santo Domingo to do whatever, and they left Haiti out there to struggle and do what they got to do. Because as far as they're concerned, Haiti fight off Europe, kick out France, and as far as they're concerned, that was like the worst thing that they could have do. Got some black people talking about they're gonna govern themselves, and as you talk about the time when that happened in that kind of era, what is that showing to the rest of the region? If the rest of the region get away from this, so we have to do anything to suppress these people and make them look like they're so bad and so terrible, so that the rest of the Caribbean don't even think about making the move. And that's what they did with my brethren in Grenada too. So
Of
they made an
course.
example out of Maurice Bishop in Grenada when
But that's
Maurice Bishop decided, well, look, this is the kind of move we're making. And so, but what I'm saying, what I am saying and the way I am putting it over is not the kind of narrative that has been presented and accepted by our people. We opted to take the American side and see Maurice Bishop as some kind of wicked man and some kind of bad man. And we take the side of seeing Toussaint and the revolution in Haiti and all what these guys. So like barbecue, I
yes.
personally don't see barbecue as no bad man as they would want to put him. I mean, in the sight of the law, because he's opposing the government, he would be deemed as a criminal by their standards. However, I just see the people as freedom fighters saying that they want to be able to shape and govern their own destiny, and they don't want outside interference.
You see, people have to understand the UN in when 2000 in 2005 when there's something like that, the UN was in Haiti and camping and doing all kind of stuff. And you know what they do? They end up and let feces end up in the people in waterways and stuff like that. And then they left in probably 2017 up in it. So sometime they left, whatever it is. A color outbreak happened. You're telling me you camp you in a people place and you don't know you don't let feces go in the people clean water and no compensation, nothing. Over 2,000 people died. These are the things keep happening. You kill off that's almost the amount of people died in the World Trade Center. You see what I mean? And nothing for it. And these keep happening over and over. It's just sad. And when we see these things, it feel like we don't have no compassion because we don't have the connection. Like they are not us because we've been taught to demonize ourselves because of hate ourselves because of voodoo and this and that and one ton of craziness. You see what I mean? As if we here not do the same thing and throughout pick any Caribbean country where we at, or anywhere in the world where we at. That's our culture. That's the reality. But we have been taken to use things to negativity and not for the real purpose of what it is in understanding nature and the ecology and the cosmos of what it really is. You see?
Because those who you see involved in the negativity of a lot of stuff, they ain't moving forward. You got to understand things what it is in the right concept. We are just been twist upside down, inside out to hate ourselves and everything that is of us. We don't want. We want everything that is of somebody else, and we rather feel comfortable with that and hold on and stuff like that instead of learning who we are and our purpose and who, you understand, and how things connect with us throughout nature and understand the environment that we're in. We're just not thinking on that like that part, and at the same time the educational system itself ain't helping us either, because everything is just going on the same guideline. You see, because we educate.
Because Banky, the system that we inherited was not designed for us, and is a system that we continue to maintain, and those who we elect
Somebody gonna change
continue
it.
to perpetuate it until we in 2024, and we still electing people who put up their hand and play allegiance to King Charles III, his heirs and his successors, and don't have a problem. They don't even flinch when they're saying it.
By
They have
law,
no qualms
Remember, that is law.
with
By
that.
law. You have to say that by law. That is a law,
Well, you see, well, that's what I'm saying. So then something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. That kind of mentality, and that is that mentality that we fought and oppose and continue to oppose. And that is why when we are going to be deemed, anybody who is against what they consider as their law
But wait,
are going to be deemed as criminals.
But why you got to swear to that? I don't understand why you got to swear to that. Why they have to take that oath?
But because it's their system, it is Banky.
Who?
You're not really free. You say you're free, but you're not really free. That is the reality. But that's what I'm pointing out to you. You know, you're not free, because if you say Banky right now, by me ain't not with my mother right now, me gonna leave my mother house and me gone for my own, and anything you need to do, your mother still go sign off on it. Because whatever the government gonna do now, the Governor General go sign off, you know. And who the Governor General be? Representative of King Charles.
Of course. So if that's representative, so why don't King Charles fit the budget then and pay the attorney, the Governor General then?
And we the taxpayers paying the Governor General. So you're free from these people, but then I give you nothing when you get freedom and when you get independence, so to speak. We were not giving anything, you know.
So
Nevis, they say Sim Daniel had to take $250,000 to start Nevis economy after independence, you know. So we got nothing from Britain, but you're still taking your money where you're taxing your people, and the same hard taxes that you got to work for. You got to spend over $1 million to pay for a Governor General and a Deputy Governor General that you say is only symbolic.
So it's the same thing with Haiti. When they gained their independence, France and get into cohoon with the US and Britain and them, and make sure that they force them to pay for the independence over $150 million, which is valued over almost over $190 billion or 22 billion.
And ain't that alone?
It's ridiculous.
Ain't that alone, you know?
So how can you pay reparation to this?
Part of the arrangement as well? Part of the arrangement was also that the money that they make, the money that Haiti was using, France had to be the one to make the currency for them.
Of course,
and
high
also,
interest.
All of the military weapons, and so that they had any military weapons that they had to buy, they could only buy it from France. And any resources that they had in the country, France gave first preference to it.
Yes.
So imagine, for your freedom, you paying reparations to who should be paying reparations to you. And then when they try to make an effort to get back at that, when Aristide were doing the thing, now they take out Aristide, and then they try to put it. So people need to understand the history and the context, and not just take on the narrative that is pushed by Western media and those American, because America has a great influence in terms of how Haiti is the way it is today. You know, it's France and America got Haiti in the condition where it is, and that is why they don't got no moral grounds to come in to talk about the. So you see what America do? America realize that they know it's so hard for them to come. So what they try to do is play the race game by using Kenya, and that's why they try to get the Kenya army, because America got links with Kenya. So they would have invest the money into the Kenyan army, but they wouldn't send no physical Americans. So they would have sent, so it would look like some, you know, see your black brothers come in, but really and truly, is America come in.
Of course. So this is the thing. This reparation thing I have an issue with when they have Beckles and all these different watch. If you're going to have prisoners of war of a people and work them and taught them all these things, brethren, every cent that you make have to give up. Ain't not when they keep talking about every cent and all those who benefit for the last 100 years, that generation, every cent and every business that they have to give it up. Me not into taking on every cent they have to start from scratch. So this dollar value people keep talking about, there ain't a dollar value to nothing. Everything you have acquired on the back of your ancestors, you have to give it up. 'Cause it's just like everywhere you're at in the world is we civilize it. It's the same concept. The concept of money ain't gonna change. So every dollar Britain have benefited from, and France and Europe, it belongs to us. So ain't no negotiating about nothing, giving me this and that. There's some, it's like in England, they were saying these people who wanted to give them people is in Grenada or Barbados, some.
Yeah, well,
No, that is.
one was in Grenada, one was in Barbados
Yeah,
as well.
what are you talking about? The money in yours, your family benefited on the backs of your ancestors. Every cent you have to give up. That is how me see it. Any other discussion apart to these things, me not entertain. So when I hear people talking about what they're gonna get, what do you mean what they're gonna get? All. ALL all. Not even this crumb that drop. They have to give up. That's
But
the
you see,
reality.
Banky, you know one of this.
That's
you know
it.
this. One of the most interesting things and one of the saddest things
Yes.
is that one of the greatest threats and arguments in regards to the argument for reparations come from people who are us.
That's
We are some of our
understandable.
own
Of course.
greatest fighters.
That is understandable, yes, son. Because you went to you have now your different PhDs and masters.
No, but
That's
I
it.
bring that point out to you, Banky, because it's tied back into what I'm saying in regards
Yes.
to Haiti.
Yes.
Because when France was doing all that you were talking about there in terms of the taking the money, and then they had France also had Haiti for the past years too. Whatever monies they made, France took 85%, I think, of it. They had to give France 85%. They were left with 15%. And if for whatever reason the 15% couldn't work in their economy to do all that they need to do, they had to get a loan from France and pay back at commercial rates.
Of course.
And CARICOM and the rest of the world sat by and watched this going on and know that this is injustice, and they did not speak. And that is why I am saying now, and that is what probably Barbecue is saying, that CARICOM can't come tell them nothing, and they ain't listening to CARICOM because they don't have any moral grounds to stand on. When you're watching people kick me and box me and doing whatever they feel like to me, and you say that we are brothers and sisters, but you ain't come to my aid, you ain't come to my rescue, you ain't telling these people, because you got the voice to go to UN and so on and tell them, no, the things that y'all are doing to Haiti are wrong. The things that y'all are doing to our brothers, but no one.
Yes, son.
From them.
Yes, son.
And got Haitians saying that they're rebel people and don't even want to accept them when they come to your territory. That's why I'm saying, when I use the example of Santo Domingo and Haiti and the same landmass, and how we treat the Santo Domingans versus how we treat Haitians.
Yeah, but remember when in about 3-4 years ago, when over in Santo Domingo, when the Haitian them who banned there, they were sending them back out of Haiti, of Santo Domingo, but CARICOM get involved. Did anybody get involved? People don't get involved in stuff like that. You see what I mean? Can you just show your own people? Because them in Santo Domingo looked up to Spain, so they think they're Spanish. They're Spanish, so they think they're white. That's the craziness. They look up to Spain, so you have black people think they're white because they're under Spain, and then they're in Spanish. Spanish is Spaniard. This is craziness. So you show the mind frame of people who think because they're looking up to Spain and all this that they are Spanish, they are Spaniards. You cannot make up these things, brethren. Cause you can't tell them.
But it speaks to the bias and the mindset and the brainwashing.
Let me take this call here.
And how effective it was.
Let me take this call. Carlo, good evening.
Yes, good night, Banky.
Yes, good evening.
Panel.
Good evening.
Yeah, son was just raising a point there, and he's so right, because I always challenge them and that. Now look at the same landmass in Santo Domingo and Haiti. And look what they're doing to the brothers. And look what's going on here, Banky.
Mm-hmm.
They're running to think it's legal. And we are accepting them. But what's here, Banky? The black punish and shouldn't be the problem, you know. If them clear one, because them clear one got the black one, them in Santo Domingo like down. And that is something we don't hear, got to touch sucker. But the mobile government we got around here. And both sides of the divide, they're lifting them up, the clear Spanish them. And it's worse. Because we got to defend the blackness, you know. You understand, Banky? We have to defend the blackness. Look what's going on the borders at Santo Domingo down there. They're running these people like, Banky have a good night here, because I know they're going to fool me, you know.
Yes,
I know they're going to fool me. Have a good night, my brother.
Good evening.
And keep laughing.
Yes,
keep laughing before people.
Appreciate the call. Yes, son.
Yeah, Banky. People know what's going on in the Banky. People recognize what's going on. There's a lot of us who know what's going on, and there's some of us who, like I said, because we take on the Western narrative and because we have been brainwashed into thinking a particular way, we ain't seeing things for what it is. Haiti was one of the places that...
Yes, son. Stop. We're talking about, you have one landmass, and you see the media covering one set of thing and nothing. It's like, well, Santo Domingo there, over in Africa, no? Because how can they have so much craziness going on in the same, just a line, a river, and nobody nothing going on the other side, like it's normal, like everything going on. And the same thing in Haiti, the cruise boat docking just outside of Port-au-Prince. So it's a centralized area where the media is covering with their own agenda and this and that and one kind of thing the same way. And the same way they go Jamaica and in Trinidad, they cover what they want to cover. Virgin, if you go to some places in America, in Mississippi, and in Detroit and even in Georgia and just pick any state, you wouldn't think you're in the US. You think you're in the island. You understand? Only you see the big cities and you feel, but they have the same lifestyle. It's just like throughout the Caribbean and anywhere else where you go. But it's just
but even
in
the big cities, you see them. I mean, you go to LA, Hollywood. You go Hollywood, you see all kind of, people sleep under tent.
That's the whole point. In California, that's the whole point. But they now show these things because they're protecting their own interests.
You don't see this on the media.
That's the whole
right?
point.
And but the thing is, Banky, as the Virgin was pointing out,
yes,
black people all over the world are facing the same struggle because even though all of this war going on, the same thing happening in Gaza, we ain't hearing about the struggles of the black people in Gaza. We ain't hearing about the struggles of the black people, how they treating black people in Ukraine. So all of these things, and then, let's look at the threat that they had recently in the region there with Guyana and Venezuela, right? With the Essequibo region there. Let's look at this argument. The Essequibo region, right? Essequibo region is a region that was populated and is known to be populated by the indigenous people.
Yes.
And a majority of the area is occupied by them. But you hear Venezuela and you hear Guyana fighting for the region, but nobody talking to these people who live there. So which means they're still treated like nobody. Because
it's all about money and profit. People don't, that's what it's all about.
And so it's the same thing, the same kind of level of respect is not given to a certain set of people.
Of course.
Based on the political, so these people, their lands are being threatened and are at war. But the people who occupy the land, so I guess they would just be, if they do have a war or whatever, they would either make them either Venezuelan citizens or make them Guyanese citizens, or some go over some. So it's just like when they shape Africa. And these are things that we got to look at because you'd find people who might have been living in one Masalan, but then when they draw that line, you go on that side. So now if that over there was occupied by French, then you might talk French and you start to live a different way. And if you occupied by Spanish, so the same thing with Haiti.
Of course.
Because over on that side, they talk Spanish because they were occupied by Spain. And over on that side, they talk French. And then over there was more, as I said, lighter skin set of people.
Yes.
And then so you have that war. So even the black people who live in Santo Domingo are still dealt with as a Belgian. And Guyana the same way too. the black Guyanese are dealt with, and these are things that
Cuba.
sometimes we don't want to deal with these things. And when we talk about reparations, and we have to bring these topics to the fore.
Yes.
You know, some people say, "Oh, you're racist, and you're trying to bring back these, always going back in history."
But how can you be racist?
But like Marcus Garvey said, a people without the knowledge of their past is like into a tree without their roots. So if you really don't understand the past and how these things are, where these things are coming from, then you can't really make a true sense of the way things are right now and how it should be. And so until we have that, and that is why sometimes some people will continue to take on the narrative, oh, the Haitians them this and the Haitians them so terrible and gangs and this is how they want to label them, and I'm gonna say them a coup and over, and they you know, they're so bad for the society when we're not on the ground and we're not necessarily listening to their side of the story and take on the narrative.
Yes. Well, you have a few comments here. Ja Herbalist was asking if Barbecue was a police. I think that he was a part of.
Yeah, I think he was a high-ranking police officer, as far as I understand.
Then you have Ivor A. Henry, and then you have Sherry and Richard Show saying Louisiana too. I guess when it comes to races and different stuff like that. One of the most.
No, but I think Louisiana, if I am not corrected, was bought
under the French.
It was
too.
Haiti. I think it belongs to Haiti.
Of course, it's more or less Haitian people around there. No,
the landmass, just like similarly like Mexico. Like California and Texas and so they had once belonged to Mexico.
It was French.
And then they bought out these areas.
Yes.
So Louisiana, I think there was something. I don't know if it's I think it's Louisiana though.
Of course,
I don't remember the history.
Yeah.
But there was some sort of agreement that they had to pay for
the Creole. Louisiana is Creole.
And then you find Banky, and then you find these things like I was listening to a little article earlier on talking about I think Texas is trying to do something in terms of blocking the migrants and deporting them and all kind of things like that, right? And calling them migrants.
But yes,
and I look at it, right?
Yes.
I look at it that
I'm trying to understand this thing, yeah. But how they get over there? They're not migrants. I understand this thing, yeah.
But that's the point I
understand this thing, yeah. Because them is the foreigners in a strange place, you know.
If you're not the indigenous American, if you're not one of the blacks or the Indians who were there originally, all of them. Britain they come from.
But that's the whole point.
All over Europe they come from.
But that's the whole
create
point.
what they call America.
But that's
so
the whole
them
point.
are the first set of migrants. But you see, that's what I'm showing you. That's why if you don't know the past.
So why they're not white Americans? Why they just call them? Why they not calling white Americans and this? I mean, I understand that.
Because they're migrants too.
But that's the whole point.
They're all migrants. The only original people are the indigenous. And what they do with them, they force them in a corner, put them on what they call reserve. They thief the land, take away the land, give them a little piece. And so these are the kind of things that, you know, when you bring these discussions to the fore, right?
I understand that people who don't have nothing and just thief and rob and pirate and murder and just take, and everybody just accept it and say, well, them one. I mean, I understand that day.
And then they have Americans looking at the Mexicans like they're so bad and they're so terrible. When at them take away the land, the lands them had belongs to the Mexicans. So how they come, you know what I mean? But you know, they're able to use their means of brainwashing and using the media and push the narrative.
Yes.
And it is highlighted with cannabis, because even America, when they began to make cannabis, to prohibit cannabis, there was a point where America made it law that you had to go hemp, you had to go cannabis, because when they went to, I think it's World War II, before World War II, you had to go hemp.
Of course, otherwise you get locked up. You get
locked up?
Mandatory.
And then they turn around.
But the same president,
this war against cannabis.
George Washington and all of them was a part of it. But guide Yasin, and then do you wrap up one time? Because we don't reach 2 hours already.
I was just gonna follow up on some of the comments here from Sherry and Richards, who is listening. She said, yes, Louisiana, they sound like Caribbean people. She said Texas is a red state, Republican. And then she said, and imagine most of Texas City named after Hispanics, but they're fighting immigrants, when these same states had belonged to Mexico before. So she's in agreement with what we were saying.
Of course.
She said, real talk, yes, son. Yeah, but, you know, and these are the things that until our people, Banky, really they say Rasta that always you're always coming with this African conscious and back to Africa and all these, you're always going back in the history and so on. But this is what we have been saying all along. Like Brother Marcus Garvey, who left Jamaica, tiny little island in the Caribbean, and also was such a revolutionary force inside that landmass that they now call United States of America. One of the things he always say is that people without a knowledge of their past is likened to a tree without roots. So if we really don't know our past, if we really don't know where we are coming from, then we would not really be able to make to make a true acknowledgement of what is happening today. And therefore, then we would not be able to plan effectively for tomorrow and for the future. So we definitely need to really get back into that and really empower ourselves and know our stories, so that as we move forward in the future and as we look at and we discuss these issues, that we can have more informed discussions and we can really move forward as a people. Because right now these divisive talks and these talks of not allowing us to get together as a people and do what we need to do in terms of, for me, I am for the regional integration. I am for that one CARICOM, because economically, Banky, if we're supposed to move from island to island or country to country, we don't necessarily have that kind of impact when we're seeking to negotiate on the global stage. We would have much more of an impact if we move together as one Caribbean unit. And that's one of the things that we have to look at. And likewise, Africa. And when we do link up as one CARICOM and do what we need to do, that is the next link that we need to make, that we need to connect with mainland Africa. So that Africa-Caribbean combination, not just to get diplomatic status for our passport, and so our passport is strengthened, but we need to really make more tangible relationships with African territory so we can benefit more. Both of us can benefit from that that union, and don't allow the former colonizers to continue to rape and rob and take out things and find ways to get back in to mainland Africa. So with that, I think we had a very healthy discussion. We did have some new people coming in, and we give thanks to those who came in.
Them one time.
Huh?
I tell you, we didn't any other comments. Bring them in one time.
Oh yeah. Yes, I'll just do that and wrap up here. She said, okay, so Balby Jones said, just think about it. My grandparents are from Nevis. My father and his siblings were only born in the Dominican Republic by chance. LOL. Me and all my siblings were born in Nevis. All in the name of migration. Now I have children born in St. Thomas, USVI, and New Jersey. All in the name of migration. Again now, CARICOM want all CARICOM members to have free movement except Haitians, and Haiti is a part of CARICOM. Pure discrimination against Haitians there. So you see, I didn't even know about that part. So why they don't want Haitians to move when Haiti is a part of CARICOM? So you see all of this kind of biasness. But anyway, Sherry and Richard say, if we don't know our story, we will continue to listen to his story. Okay. Yeah, which is very true.
Beautiful point.
Thanks for your contribution, Sherry Ann. You seem to be a new
No man, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. That's my cousin right there.
No. I mean, well, I haven't seen much of our comments in recent times, but very good contributions.
Yes.
And Balby Jones and all the others would have made contributions. And I am grateful, Banky, for this opportunity for us to have this level of discourse on a regular. And I am hopeful that the listeners also recognize that we don't just limit ourselves to agriculture. We do have the ability to engage and discuss various other topics. I see some other comments dropping in. Jahobel is saying my grandfather is from Santo Domingo. Balby Jones again said the Haiti saga just continues. 1915, American Marines went ashore in Haiti. Now in the past 2 weeks, 2 groups of Marines came ashore in Haiti again. Bless up. One love, great show. And as people are talking about descendants from Santo Domingo, I must also add that on my grandfather's side, on my mother's side, my grandfather, his people are actually from Santo Domingo. And so I actually have descendants from Santo Domingo. So when you hear me talk like this, don't think I have anything against people from Santo Domingo. So we know of the stories and how some of our foreparents went down there to cut cane and all of that and all that, right? And my grandfather was one of them redskin people too. So I mean, so when I talk like this, I talk because I know myself and I talk from what I know. Anyway, people, I know it's been a pleasure. I know we gotta make some room for the next person coming in, and we give thanks for the opportunity. We do wanna invite you to log in to Danny Atherton tomorrow with his show. And also, that's a very, very vital show. So farmers, please do log in tomorrow evening at 7 for that
Yes, I.
interesting edition with Danny Atherton. And we do look forward to being with you again. Is next week would be the link up
Real
with
talk.
Real Entertainment Network.
Yes.
So we look forward to being with you with that exclusive edition every end of the month, every Tuesday, the last Tuesday in every month. We are now teaming up with Real Entertainment Network. We are kind of taking away a bit of the real talk and mixing up a little bit of the topics
Yes.
on that edition. So for those of you who usually tune in on that network, this is going to be the second week that the second program.
Yes.
So it's the second time we're going to be doing this link up, and we do look forward to having you being a part of that discussion and engagement, where we really focus in on cannabis talks, and then we will get into some other topics, as the latter part would be mainly the way the topics is organized and structured. So we give thanks to all of you who would have been a part of the program and all who have stayed and stick and stay with us. We do look forward to having you next week on another edition of Everything Agriculture. Enough love, Rastafari Banky. Give thanks.
Yes, just want to encourage everyone to come out and support the Agriculture Expo this Thursday and Friday. Don't miss it. And remember, you'll have a cannabis college. Shaba's Organics will having a cannabis college where from seeds to flowering, different type of trees, male, female, hermaphrodite, different type of planting techniques, budding, tapping, stressing the trees so you get bigger buds, different variation, different types of trees and stuff like that, different agro-processing literature, type of lighting system from the old type of light to new technology. Just come and get an overall educational view of what's going on, because we have a lot of good growers and young growers, both male, female, getting involved, and those who want to learn and curious. So what need to happen is start to have seminars and workshops. So all those who have that interest need to come out and, get to know the plant. And plus you can have plants in your yard, so you should not afraid to have plants in your yard. So if you don't know how to get access to the seeds and you want a plant, you can get a plant and all the different stuff. And that's how we should be. And we need to hear our Minister of Agriculture and all in the cabinet. Every cabinet member in Singis Nevis should be able to speak on cannabis. That's just how it is. Should be able to speak on agriculture. Anyone who tell me they can't speak on agriculture, I ain't trusting them, period. You got to, can't do what you can't. Well, how are you going to survive? If you're going to tell me you cannot speak on agriculture, me I want to hear nothing else from you, period. That is somebody to keep from. Because your survival, your medicine, your food, your shelter, everything it's about. So when anybody tell you nothing about agriculture, they're lying to you. You should not even have nothing to that person there. Because how they're going to survive? So when people tell me these things, they can't talk on agriculture, I just listen to them, Because right there, I ain't entertain the conversation, because those are people I stay from. Because I know their mind frame is all about gimmicks and whatever it's all about. You must be able to speak on agriculture. It's easy, and it should be the most important topic for anyone. I don't care portfolio. You go in charge of education, but you know how to eat. Well, how the teachers are going to function, your brain will function. You got to, so that is what's going to determine your healthcare system. So when people go along and them wise guys, I know about agriculture, okay. But then they have a thing to say about agriculture at the same time. So if you're going to charge of tourism, but you can't take agriculture, so when the cruise boat come, where they want to get the food from? What is your link to link up with the farmers them? To encourage that they don't bring in no food, that they could get the food to buy from the local market. It's one link. So it's common sense. So we'll have to, really this evening I want to talk more about the youth and them and stuff like that. So on the next show in March, then we will get involved with focusing in the youth and them when it comes to analyzing their environment, reading for themselves, questioning things, know how to watch the news, and see what when it comes to motives
and narratives and stuff like that, and how to decipher things for themselves, and don't let people just force things on the throat and don't question it. Because that's the society we live in, you know. Everybody want to force things down your throat, and if you don't accept it, then you're going to hell. Well, me going to hell. Me want to go to hell. Me after me going to hell. Guys, nobody force nothing down my throat and down my youth then throat, because they want to question everything. So let me and the devil stay a hell. Because it is madness. You can't force things on people's throat when they have a mind of their own to think things through. We got to get out of this kind of thinking. We need to respect everybody's way of thinking and stop thinking because this is your way. If somebody's not going their way, well, I guess we are going to hell then, because everybody have their own way of thinking, isn't it? So nobody get a heaven, nobody get a hell. If that's what we're going to think, it don't make no sense. So we really got to get out of this mind frame. So it shows we have been thinking in one way, where Islam want to tell you you're going to hell, Christian going to tell you hell, this going to tell you you're going to hell. So everybody going to hell as far as I see. So only me going left here. But folks, greatly appreciate you guys sticking with us. But we really need to start teaching the youth and them and educate, let them start be themselves and be comfortable in their own shoes and not determined by what society says that is good and that is bad. Otherwise, most people live their life and never live them true self, just pretending and just being somebody else. Me, what you see is what you get, Virgin. You understand? You see nothing else extra. I ain't trying to worry about who got this and who got that. Me gonna come as it is, and that's it. Me pretending. And that is why I put instill in my youth and them. Be confident, know who you are, know yourself, and know about and their opinion don't determine the kind of who you are. And that is key.
Exactly.
The problem with our society, we tend to worry about what other people think of us. And they to get out that mind frame. You're supposed to live as if only you one exists. Because that's the reality. You only could depend on you. So live that way, and that is how we live. Other people's opinion on how they feel about they don't exist. Because they have an agenda. Because once they can't control you, they get in their feelings. It's better to let people into their feelings than for them to control you. Then you end up in your own feelings, doing stuff to please people. You see what I mean?
Right.
So be true to yourself.
Right.
So definitely come out next week. Come out this Thursday and Friday, and look for Cannabis College, which will be Shabazz Organics, where we showcase everything when it comes to cannabis, the history of cannabis, and the way to get forward into the industry. Because the government himself in the federation is moving towards the cannabis industry. And we know when this thing open up, you will see all those who used to fight the herb is all who are going to be involved in it. So I can't wait to see when these things happen. When these happen, how everything goes. But yeah, son, enough respect. I mean, for sticking with us. And for those who tuning in, definitely stick with us and come out, support the Agriculture Expo, and give a feedback. Next week, we'll have a feedback on the Agriculture Expo and go from there. Yeah, son, enough respect every time.
Guidance and protection every time.
Yeah, man, bless.
Hey, this man Easy, inviting you to tune in to 2020 Vision Radio this Tuesday and every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show on 2020 Vision Radio. Tune in. It's inspirational, educational, and you won't want to miss it. So 102.1 FM this Tuesday, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. It's everything agriculture.
EC Computer Institute, serving you with distinction since 1993. Located on Shiloh Baptist Road, Ramsbury Site, Nevis, we offer primary and secondary school children courses, basic, intermediate, advanced, and university level adult courses, CSEC EDPM, CAPE Computer Science, and CSEC or CAPE Information Technology. You can become proficient in computer